Later this year, a major conference on the plight of persecuted Christians around the world is being planned in Moscow. I sat down with Ken Barun, the Chief of Staff of Franklin Graham, and Ken Isaacs, the Vice President of Samaritan's Purse, to talk about this important event. How serious is the situation for Christians here in the Middle East?
Oh, I think it's very serious. I mean, we do a lot of work in, whether it's in Jordan, whether it's in Syria, whether it's in Turkey. We work in many different Middle Eastern countries, Iraq. That space is shrinking all the time for them. ISIS is sending a very clear and chilling signal when they line up 21 Ethiopians and cut their heads off. It means something. When they kidnap Christian women coming out of Syria and put them into sexual slavery, when they execute the men in front of the family members, it means something. And there has been a mass exodus of Christians out of the Middle East, and this is where Christianity started. What I can say in the nearly 30 years that I've been working around the world is that over the last 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, I see this increasing speed of the fulfillment of prophecy. It's like a big river coming into a narrow channel and starting to pick up a lot of speed and intensity. So I can't see forward, but I can see where we are, and I can read the book, and wow, that's this, and that's this, and that's this, and whether it's in Ezekiel or Revelation or whatever, you see all of these things coming together. And this is going to be a front row seat to what happens right here.
That's exactly right. Ken, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think that Kenny's exactly right, and we see this, and I think what we're seeing here is a very strong message to us. And as Kenny referenced, the book tells us everything. So our job really is urgent in the fact that regardless of the military situation and the threat is to Christianity, the threat is to the world, the threat is to us. So I see an urgency, and it's not just a military urgency. I see a spiritual urgency for us to reach people.
It seems to be a war on Christian values, not only in the States, and a war on Christianity here in the Middle East. Can you discuss what you have in mind with this conference coming up in Moscow and what you want to accomplish through that?
Well, I think that the conference is really to bring people together, and to it's a bold move, especially to do it in Moscow. The outcome is really what we want. We want to see something get done, and part of that is exposing this to the world and letting people know this is going on. We're only fed what we get from the media. There's so much more in the world going on that people don't see. So I think to expose this, to invite people from over 100 countries to come to this conference in late October, to spend 3 days together talking about this and sharing, will prayerfully have a great outcome.
Ken, what would you like to see accomplished through this conference?
What we need is recognition that members who claim Christ are being persecuted, they're being murdered. And it's very systematic. It is so big that it has now become normalized. We don't think about it anymore. I mean, the world, it's not really a big deal anymore. And the persecution can be overt and it can be covert. It can be subtle and it can be hard. But nevertheless, it's pushing Christians all the time. And I think to have it in Moscow is, it's going to be controversial, but I think that I can see the reasoning in it. About 99% of the Orthodox priests were murdered during the days of communism. So that church in itself was hugely persecuted. And but to have it there, to have the government strength there of it, I mean the government permission, the invitation to come and hold it there, that's going to send, I hope, a signal to other governments. What's going on with Russia? What's Russia doing about that? And my hope is that during the conference in October in Moscow, that we will be able to create a buzz. We will be able to identify and focus and amplify some of the issues that need to be addressed in a serious way. These are not some minority group issues. These are major world powers and momentums that are being created, and we need to find a way to protect Christians. Christians need a right of religion.